extraordinarily busy with the HSL, but David does have another life outside of HSL, unlike me, so it's not always the easiest. But he's back. We're all back, and of course we have Yehuda Konig, the legend, the Twillery champ, and Shlomo Ross, who's on like a 8-time HSL podcast appearance guy, and we're happy to have them on to finally talk about the HSL Town Appliance Night League that we've been so longfully awaiting. So we're here, we're excited, and David, take it away, and we're live.
First of all, I believe his title is the Twillery King, not the Twillery. What did you call him? The Twillery Legend? It's
Champ,
Twillery,
I said, I think. Legend,
champ.
yeah.
People don't know that we had a celebratory dinner, which I was fortunate to be invited to in Wall Street Grill. Yehuda called me about an hour before, and he said, I really should be wearing a crown at this dinner. And I said, really? A crown? I said, we've done celebration dinners before. Nobody wore a crown. And he said, I am the Twillery King. So I ran all over Manhattan looking for a crown, and I got one. And now there's an iconic picture of the Twillery King in his crown. And hopefully he can live up to it this year, and it wasn't a one and done. So welcome to the podcast, Yehuda. I'm not going to give him a chance to respond to the accusation. And then we have...
We'll call it revisionist history, but okay.
And then we have with us Shlomo Ross, who won the Tier B championship last year in the Sunday League. I think you took an unfortunately early exit with Batitude in the Summer Night League.
Yeah, twice.
Twice. Yeah. Okay, yeah, and you had a very strong team. But this year, Ross's teams are 0-6.
We have one win.
Oh, you do have a win.
Yeah, we beat Tuvia.
They beat Tuvia in their first matchup Sunday morning.
Oh, okay, so you have a win on the season. I was feeling so bad, especially because I understand you played a couple of really competitive games, especially last night, which I want to get into. But also, welcome to the podcast, Shlomo Ross.
Thanks. Yeah. We might not have gotten off to the starts that we wanted, but it's not about how you start.
As Avi Edelman said, nobody takes an L better than Shlomo Ross. You know,
yes.
After one of the recent games, you sent Avi the breakdown, and he forwarded it to a chat I was in with somebody else. I don't remember exactly who. And Avi's like, it was just a great breakdown of why you lost. And Avi wrote, nobody takes an L better than Shlomo Ross does.
Oh, yeah, it got me very excited, that message. By the way, Dave, do you check out the merch that Shlomo Ross is wearing? Look what's on his right chest right there, and on his left chest.
Qualified Protein. You know, I actually need to bring Qualified Protein to my office. When I've been doing those videos, drinking the protein powder, it's at home. I don't have it in my office, and then when I get home, it's a balagan. Thursday and Friday, I work from home, so I'm able to do those videos. So I got to bring some to my office.
I think that's what maybe you should have the games on Thursday or Fridays. You probably play better having the protein shakes. No,
I'm playing for David's team tonight, so I'll bring him some.
There we go. David, we expect big things. I want to hear 3 for 4 with 2 extra base hits.
I think I'm facing Tuvia. Avi, is Tuvia the pitcher for MCS Julia?
Yeah, Tuvia pitches.
All right, we'll try. So let's get into last night's epic matchup. Slomowitz was the one who scored the game, right? Harry Slomowitz. So
yes.
The minute the game ended, he forwarded me the box score, and I said, wow, what a game. And then I immediately reached out to Shlomo, and I said, looks like a really great game and tough loss. And like I said, nobody takes an L better. Yeah, we had our chances to score, but we squandered them. Great game, a frustrating loss. It was nice to be able to play again, So obviously a highly competitive game. Then we analyzed Yehuda Konig's pitching a little bit, which we'll get into. So Shlomo, why don't you give us the takeaway from what seemed like playoff level intensity just based on reading the box score?
So, yeah, pretty much everything that I said in those texts. They got off to a quick lead, and hit a bloop to center field that he turned into a double. And then I think he scored on a sac fly, if I remember correctly. And then in the bottom of the first, we had second and third. Unfortunately, I grounded to short to end that inning. We had another inning where someone got thrown out at third, but then we had second and third again with 1 out, and then a pop-up to second and a pop-up to, I think, Konig to end that inning. So we had chances to tie the game, get the lead, and we just didn't hit in those clutch situations. But overall, there was a point in the top of the 7th, I believe. They had bases loaded, 1 out, and a stop came through. I don't remember who was up, but line drive to short for the second out.
Zagelbaum hit a line, George. Yeah.
Yeah, he on a line but right at our shortstop, Alex, and then a fly ball to left field that was caught. So it was just a very good. It was a classic. Like if you know the days of Chabad versus Young Israel of Woodmere back in like late 2010s, it was a very similar game where it just ended 1-0. We'd always play 2-1, 1-0 games, and it was very similar to those games.
And Konig was the pitcher for YIW?
Yeah.
Ah, I see. Is that where you daven?
Is that to me? Shlomo is a daven. I mean, no, yeah. I'm at Young Israel Woodmere, and I daven also at IPM.
Okay, got it. So Shlomo, what was it like to hit off of Yehuda Konig?
I always love hitting off of Yehuda. The first at bat, it's my first at bat since I came back from injury, so it's a tough pitcher to come back against. Second at bat, I worked a very tough walk, and then I tried to jump all over that first pitch, and then my last at bat, and hit it right at a center fielder.
Yeah, so you got me excited. You got me excited with that one. That finds a gap. That's a tie game, and the winning runs in second.
Yeah. So last year, in the Young Israel versus Chabad game, we were down 2 runs with the runner on first or a runner on third, and I hit a ball over the center fielder's head. I stumbled around going around first, so it ended up being a triple. And so in this time coming up, I was like, maybe I could recreate that, but not stumble around first. Unfortunately, it was caught. So
how did you know to jump on the first pitch?
Usually, so I don't want to give Yehuda my inside secrets, but I always feel like well, I feel confident in any count, but yeah, I think the first pitch is usually the best pitch you're going to see against Yehuda. So don't get into a situation where you have to face a riser or curveball or anything. Just that first pitch that's straight going into the strike zone, jump all over that.
Yehuda, do you remember the triple/home run that you gave up in the summer?
I do remember. Shlomo's had his good at bats against me. He grinds out the at bats. He's good hitter. Yeah, bottom line, I feel like he's gotten better over the years, like significantly better. Powers. It might be those protein shakes. It's probably that, something along those lines, because he's
qualified protein, baby.
Up, but in all seriousness, I think what I found is that, and we talked about this earlier, I find that the defense has gotten much better, like across the league, where it's hard to score. It's like, you ever remember those yes and no books when you guys were kids? Yeah, were you old enough for those yes and no books?
I mean,
what is it? Where you choose your own adventure?
Like you have to fill in the different games in them and use the special pen for it. The point I'm making is, because it's an odd reference, but it took 3 hits to score a run there in the game that you play. And that's what it feels like here in HSL softball. Every game we play, it is hard to score. It's just, I don't know if it's a combination of the just knowing the hitters better and just being more comfortable, or I just think it's more competent and better players. I think it's just a lot of good players out there.
I think arguably, look, people are going to argue with me. I'm relatively new to the softball world, but at least in the 10 years I've been part of it, or so, I think we're at what seems like a peak to me in a lot of ways. Even considering this RSK tournament situation, like, as far as I know, there have been tournaments in the past, but this has really blown up, this RSK tournament, where it's going into its 4th or 5th year, and interest is as high as ever. I know, I'll get a message from old timers, and they'll be like, "No, you don't know what the hell you're talking about, Gottlieb, blah, blah, blah." But I think in a lot of ways, there's like as much. First of all, there's a lot of softball going on. Jonas and Lowinger, actually, your new buddy, Konig, he, we work on this football tournament together, and he pointed out to me, he just very mathematically, so if you go around like the Jewish tri-state area, whatever you want to call it, he's like, there's a total of like 40 football teams, like total, if you count up every league. He's like, if you count up every softball league, there's like 150 teams. It ranges from 18 to 65, I guess. And there's just a lot of, interest in it. So we seem to be to me, it appears we seem to be at some kind of really pinnacle. I don't know what to say of something.
I'll tell you what I can tell you what I think it is. I think it's technology has shrunk the world, where it used to be that, you played here and you stayed here. It's much easier to be in contact with people. It's much easier to promote. It's much easier to have crossing lines. I just think people just have easier contact with each other. And there's just these tournaments. Yeah, think about it. You would have had to manually call people on a phone, to get these things done. It's funny. I'll tell you something funny. We just looked back at my son's upsharing invitation. It was like looking through his album, and the response on it was to call not a cell phone, to call the house phone, like the RSVP. Like, whoever heard of such a thing now?
Well, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was actually thinking about recently. I literally had the question to myself. I was wondering, in the year, especially because people want to make up games and all that, in the year 2003, maybe even later, how was the schedule disseminated? How did you make the schedule known? And then how did you handle makeups? Yeah.
So here's what you did. There was a captain's meeting where they would, get together physically in a building, hand out schedules, and then you didn't have this immaturity where you have to, like today, where you got to send everyone a reminder, send them another reminder, then 2 hours before the game, get your cancellations. You let the captain know if you weren't going to be there. It was assumed you're at every single game. But today, I think there's just more, because it's like even easier to get sports tickets. It's easier to get concert tickets. Back then, you used a broker. You had to call Ticketmaster on the phone. Today, and on a whim, somebody could pick up tonight. Now they don't have tickets. Now they can go to the Knicks game tonight, because in 5 seconds they could have Knicks tickets. So I just think people's attention spans are so much shorter. And I'm not going to sit here and wax poetic about it, but it was probably less going on then. I think that's the nature of the world. There's probably a little less going on. So
But wait, but Yehuda, but then there's a rain out. The commissioner calls the captain, and then the captain calls everybody on the team to tell them there's a rain out.
100%. Yep.
Okay, and then the makeup is also a little bit of a pain in the neck to deal with. Well, I guess back then you wouldn't check with your team on a makeup, because I can't imagine you were calling 10 people and saying, oh, does April 29th at 7:45 work? And you get to number 8 on the list, and he's like, oh, I have a wedding, No,
yeah. What you would do is the commissioner would give you the date. Like, here's your makeup date, tell your team. And then either you would tell your team, or, at the next game, you would tell them, hey, guys, we're making up such and such game on such and such date.
Gotcha. Okay. That makes a lot of sense. I don't even know how we got into this. I'm not sure. But anyway, back to, Shlomo, what are you going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say we got here because you mentioned about how softball seems a lot more, like it's growing a lot more than it was.
Oh, so Konig's explanation is there's just a lot of contact, a lot of ways to reach out, and you could easily put together a team made up of guys from Muncie, who you played a few times with, Queens, Five Towns, a Lakewood guy or two. It's cross-fertilization, cross-pollination, if you will.
Before we move on, I actually want to give a big shout-out to Shlomo Ross, also to Blisco, who I'm playing for. The Monday Night League, used to be the Croton League, then the West Hempstead Softball League, now the HSL League. There's a certain amount of sacredness to it, right? Like, going back years and years, that, like, it's like the elites of the elite. People always joke around. Last night, a couple of Syrian kids are at the league, and I'm like, oh, this is the best softball you'll find. Like, nah, YMSL is much better. I go back and forth. Anyways, but in all seriousness, Monday night is known to be the top of the top. So, this season, when we had, one team leaving because of politics, and another team leaving because of politics, and one new team starting, and we were down to 4 teams, I'm like, oh, no, 4 teams, bad luck. And then I had Shlomo Ross and Tovia both reach out to me, telling me they want to bring a team. There's a certain amount, level of risk there, because, if a team joins tier 2 and they're a joke, okay, for the future that, it's stupid. But, tier 1 is sacred, that if you bring a team in that's going to lose 15-0 every time in a Monday night tier 1 league, it's a very, very bad look. So I want to, give a quick, we're only 2 weeks in, but, just seeing Shlomo's team and Tovia's team perform in the first 2 weeks, not only could they, compete, I think they're legitimately up there, and I think they could win on any given night. I'm not saying are as much favorites as the teams that's been there forever, but I think they could win a championship. Right now, how they are built. We're very lucky.
It goes back, Avi, to what we were saying, that I really I think, and I'm going to champion this point, forever. This idea of A player, B player, David and I have talked about this. I can't stand it. There's so many guys who play in the Wednesday league that are fantastic ball players. And it's almost like there's an aura about the Monday Night League, and it is a great league. But there's no reason it can't grow. There's no reason next year you can't bring 2 more teams to it. So what? So a team will come in and not do as well in the beginning, but if they have determination, they'll get better. I could tell you my early years, we got smoked as young kids, in our teens and 20s by the older teams. And then we did quite well. And if you want it enough and you have enough talent that could get better, there's no reason that they can't move up.
So let's go back a minute. Shlomo, Konig mentioned a minute ago that you evolved as a hitter, and you've also, I don't know about the Shul League, what tier it is, whatever you want to call it, but you're really on this journey very clearly to me now. As long as I know you, I think you've been in the Tier B, and now you're in 2 different Tier A leagues, captaining. Well, you're co-captain kind of in the night league, but we know you're really wearing the pants over there. No, I'm kidding.
I'll give it. It's more Benji and Morty, but
yeah, okay. I'm just kidding. But so you've evolved, and I'm curious to hear more about that journey.
I think so. Most of the guys or a lot of the guys that play on the team, whether it's Sunday morning or at night, we've played Tier 1 in the Shul League. So playing in the B League was just like I started off with the Hippos because those were my high school friends, and then that team evolved. But it was just in order to a way to play with my high school friends. And that's when I fell out of the A League. Back in the day when it was the Croton League, I was on the team with my brother, Zach Hatton, Adam Hoffman, Shuey Hoffman. Like, we had a really solid team there.
That was a Tier 1 team, or there was one tier?
I think there was one tier.
Was that the Hitmen? Was it the Hitmen?
We played against the Hitmen. We were the Rebels.
The Rebels. Okay, I'm trying to throw out these old names that are in my head.
We only had one season, and we lost to the Lobos in the playoffs. A whole disaster. Yeah, so and then I played for the Bombers for a bunch of years, Sunday mornings. So
You played for the Bombers for a bunch of years? What years was that?
Probably like 2017 through 2019.
Well, so I probably lost a few games to you in my time.
Potentially.
Are you still in the Bombers?
2 games to everybody, doesn't
Shlomo, are you still in the Bombers team chat?
No, I don't think I ever made it into the team chat. My brother would contact me and say, hey, this is where the game is this week. I'd be like, okay, cool, I'm there. My first ever inning with the Bombers, Yehuda was on the mound, and it was the fall. It was the spring. It was the first game of the season. As my brother does.
Back then, the season probably started middle of May based on the complaints we got for starting.
I'm pretty sure it was still March. Very cold morning. And as my brother has the minhag to do, we got to the game 30 seconds after it was supposed to start. And everybody on the Bombers turned to me and said, where do you play? I said, put me in the infield. And so they put me at third, and the first 2 plays went to me. I didn't warm up at all. I threw the ball away. We lost by 1 run. At the championship dinner that year, Yehuda kept bringing that up, letting me know that
Really?
Yeah. But wow. I deserved it. I made a couple errors, and
was this the game? Was this the game? It was like in one of the Great Neck Fields.
Yes, yeah.
I remember that. I actually remember that game. That was terrible.
But you get better by playing against better competition. So even with just going back to your original question, going from the B League to the A League, or Tier 1, Tier 2, you're going to get better by playing against better competition. If you're always facing off against the guys at the bottom of Tier 2, you're not going to become a better softball player. And if that's your goal to become a better softball player, then you have to move up, and sometimes that means taking your losses. Sometimes they're bad losses, but you'll get better that way.
He's right.
I love it. So now, I have 2 things to get to. One is, this is like really fascinating information that you were on the Bombers, and also that they never invited you into the chat, which essentially means that you have I would think you have a bone to pick with Steve and Konig, and
Whoa.
Not so much.
I'm an also ran on that team.
I've been playing against or with both of them since I was in my very early teenage years. So
wow. So
no bones to pick.
Okay, so a couple more things. Actually, let's go to this first. So it's interesting, with that group, Konig, Steve, some of these guys you've been playing with for so many years, this weird dynamic where guys are teammates. I think what's interesting about this group is that they're teammates in one league, mortal enemies in another league. What makes it so interesting is that, it seems like these games are life and death, like existential, like end times. Every game is like a biblical moment of epic proportions. It feels like. So you're playing with them in one league, and then you're against them the next day. It's just a really interesting phenomenon to me, which I don't know exactly where else it exists. That you have like the Sunday morning tier one. Like I'll give you an example, like Konig and Steve on Sundays, and then you go to Monday nights and they're competitors. You have Adam and Shui often play with Steve on.
Nice.
There's
Nice.
just a lot of interesting, relationships there.
Steve only is on the Lobos recently. That was a big deal because
Steve, Yehuda probably got a call.
Yeah, he did. We'll give him a second. You're back. Go ahead.
with a bunch of different guys, and he was
Yeah, go-
playing with a whole different group, and he had his own team with Eric Zimmerman. And when his team kind of dissipated, he joined up with the Lobos. That was an eye opener.
I would
Who was
never have let that happen if we were running the league then.
Well, you would have made him bring a new team, you mean?
Yeah, figure it out. Figure it out.
Who's the wow? Avi's a real strong commissioner, like Adam Silver. I don't know. Who was the pitcher on the Lobos before Steve?
So they had Neil Ostroff pitch.
Oh, I've
Yep.
seen him. Yeah,
Dom
I've seen him.
always talks about Neil, Dave. Dom
Neil,
always
yeah,
talks about him.
and then they had before they also had Yossi Eisenberger before him, and then after Victor Cusp has the last few years also pitched on that team.
So it was a chiddush when they added Steve.
I thought so. I thought that was a big deal. Yeah.
Who was the leadership on that team?
Which one?
The Lobos.
The Lobos has been moved over. Originally it was Yossi Eisenberger and David Brescher. When they stopped playing, it's really the current now. I feel like Sach picked it up and he's really run with it. I think he's done a very good job. I think he's really
who added Steve. So it was Sach who added.
Yes, yeah, he's really evolved, and they always have a competitive team. I mean, I feel like they're like the Yankees. They get everybody,
Now
Well-
they're doing a better job bringing younger talent. They're really doing it, especially this year with the big.
Well, I want to take credit with an assist from Avi. On bringing Solly Esses to that team.
Solly the kid.
Solly the kid. I wake up. I don't remember what day of the week it was, but my kids get up early. I got into bed to take a nap for an hour or two or three or four, depending on the day. No, I'm kidding. I can't sleep for more than an hour or two. I wake up to a message from Steve. Hey, can you help me get those kids that played with you in the Twillery tournament, JoJo and Solly? So, I was on a conference call, me, Avi, and Solly, 4 minutes later, and we worked him, and then Sach and Steve started selling him on it, and then eventually they closed the deal, which me and Avi were very happy about because he's really talented and a great guy. JoJo's more busy. I don't know. He's in Israel. I don't know.
So how old is Solly?
Probably about 21, Avi.
Oh my God!
Solly the kid.
Wow.
21 years old. You should see. I mean, you'll see on my WhatsApp stats when I do the highlights. He had a shot of Daniel Ash that most guys
I saw.
Oh, you did
saw
see
that.
Oh, you were there. Yeah, he's.
I saw
I
your
put it on the
video.
community. I put it on the community. Yeah. Not a lot of guys could go oppo with that power off Ash, and he actually.
Yeah,
called
that was
him
not
and
an
said
accident. That was a rip.
that was a quick. He's got quick. What they call quick wrists. He turned that one over very, very fast. That was a very quick swing.
So next question, then I want to move on to some other teams and some other games from last night. Shlomo and Yehuda, what did you think of Asaf last night against? It's interesting. Konig, your team has scored a total of 1 run
in 2 games.
We're
in 2
killing
games.
it.
You're
We're
killing
killing
it. So I mean, I look at the names in the lineup though. I mean, these are legit players. So you got to give credit to. We'll get to Avi in a minute, but I guess Asaf pitched a real good game.
Asaf is excellent. Asaf's a great player. He's a perfect example of a guy who, plays in the B. I know he likes to play with his friends and his buddies, but in terms of ability, he's fantastic. He could hit, he could pitch. He's a good defender also when he's out there, but fields his position well. I mean, he had a beautiful catch of a line drive that killed the rally and doubled off a guy off first. I mean, he really. He's again. So as much as we had traffic on the bases last night. I felt like we didn't get the big hit, and I thought I did think, and Shlomo could disagree, but I thought other than me being a little erratic with the strike zone early on, I thought we were in pretty good control. I thought we we outplayed them a little bit. Not a ton. It was a 1-0 game, but I thought while they had their chances, the closest they really had with less than 2 outs of scoring was, I believe it was the 5th or 6th inning. They had a man on third, and then we got a pop up on the infield and a pop up to me, as Shlomo said earlier. But we had men on the bases with less than 2 outs 2 or 3 times, and just could not get the big hit. So I think twice we hit into double plays,
Yeah.
Shlomo.
Who hit
right?
into the double plays? Who hit into the double plays?
Again, this is why you don't put, just like we don't give Aliyahs to back the brothers or all that. Zagelbaums were batting back to back, and Avrami, I believe, hit a line drive single, and then his brother hit a bullet up the middle that Asaf snared and doubled up, and then another play was where they were shielding. We had a lefty up. It might have been Menachem Nyman.
Yeah.
Great
Hit
hitter.
a bullet up the middle, right at the guy standing on second base, and he just stepped on the bag and threw to first for double play.
Yep.
So they were as I said earlier, the defense in the league is just stellar. They were just.
So what do you attribute that to? What do you attribute the increased defense to?
I think there's a lot of good players out there, and I think
More
there's an
than when you
abundance of
were
talent.
more than the blue and white league?
100% there's more good players. I
Wow.
won't tell you that the top of the league, and I might catch some flack for this, but I don't remember playing where every single game is like this, where you scored 3 or 4. I used to always say to my team, get me 4 and we'll win every single game. Now it's like we scored in the first inning and it's like, there's your run, make it stand.
So, Shlomo, what do you have to say about Asaf?
Yeah, Asaf's been great. He had the first game was against the Lobos, which is a very tough team. We gave them way too many outs. That was more of a classic, where it's not. I think the wind and the cold played a big part in that game. But there was just, we gave them way too many outs. They took advantage of it. Scored 6 runs on us, but it wasn't because of Asaf. Asaf kept us in that game, and this game he playing right behind him. He pitched fantastic, and I think that he's a legitimate A-League pitcher. Throws the ball hard. During the last week game when I wasn't playing, while Benji was getting his gear on, I was behind the plate warming him up, and the ball was coming in a lot quicker than I was expecting it to. So he has speed on his fastball, and he moves the ball around in the zone. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing behind him the rest of this season.
So the game you beat Tuvia in was the Sunday League or the night league?
Yes, Sunday.
Sunday League. Oh, okay, got it.
Yeah.
So what's your record now in the night league?
Night league we're 0-2.
0-2, okay.
Yeah.
All right, Yehuda, game 1, you guys lost to Avi Edelman and Gordon Companies, and Tuvia is the captain, right? And I wrote, Avi gave up 5 hits, I think, scattered 5 hits over 7 innings, as they say. Did you walk anybody?
I never walk people.
Oh, wow, but well said.
Well said by Dom. So I wrote in, and then Avi took a bases loaded walk.
That was an unbelievable sequence of pitches. Also, I could have easily struck out twice, and I never strike out. I only struck out 5 times in my life. One of which came against Yehuda Konig. Maybe 4 times. I'm not sure. Pollen Konig.
Sit here for 5 minutes. It'll be 2.
Pollen Konig, C. Klein, who was in my high school class in 9th grade in a pickup game, and maybe one more.
In a pickup?
Yeah, 9th grade in Travis Earl, Murray Park. But that bat was Wong. Anyways, go ahead. Sorry, it was unbelievable.
Well, we can walk through the sequence in a minute. So I wrote in the chat, Yehuda Konig, I heard Avi Edelman had his way with you last night, and you said that's a little bit strong. Had his way with. So I have a list here of words that maybe can better describe what Edelman did to you, giving up 5 hits over 7 innings and scoring the game, walking in the game-winning RBI. Instead of had his way with, would you say took control of you, overpowered you, dominated you, subdued you, imposed his will on, bent to his will, took advantage of, exploited, used, manipulated, walked all over, violated, assaulted, or forced himself on? Do any of those? Do you think any of those words more accurately capture what happened 2 Monday nights ago, Monday, April 21st.
I feel like we could stay with, I guess, had his way with it.
Thank you, Chat.
Listen,
Thank you,
I
ChatGPT.
was gonna say this sounds like ChatGPT, which I know nothing about, but I think Avi's a tremendous player. I think Avi, people like say in jest, but Avi's as good as anybody out there, and he does what a lot of people can't do. He's very patient as a hitter, and he fouled off 2 or 3 pitches that were just, I thought, pretty good pitches. And
Yeah.
That was
I gotta
what, it
do
was
a
a
better
full
job.
count? That was a full count, or?
It was, he battled back.
I
think
fouled
had
off
it at
2.
1-2.
I fell off 2 at a full count.
Oh,
One,
you go back from 1-2. So Avi, why don't you
Yeah.
walk us through the at bat?
Yehuda got so again, just to like, and I actually messaged someone privately, and I want to say that if I'm going to be pitching again throughout the league, I'll be very vulnerable for a second. I have a knack, which is true. I get very intense on the mound when I'm pitching. I get very intense to the extent when there are people who make boneheaded plays and they don't own up to it, I'll get very upset. So what I've been trying, so what I've been trying to do as of recent, which unfortunately right now I don't have a middle ground right now. So I've been trying to really take the opposite approach, which actually works for me very well, in which is not being necessarily a goofball. Like I take it very seriously, but I'm just like constantly talking and like sort of like joking around to my teammates. It helps me like keep very, very relaxed on the mound. So I sort of take the same approach at the plate. Either one way or the other. I sort of can't. The reason why I haven't really hit as well as I always used to hit. I used to be a phenomenal hitter. Like I'm still very good, but I used to be. It's because I get so, when I'm pitching, I'm so serious and locked in and nervous. Like I almost like hitting's almost like a total secondary. That's why in the Cares tournament I was able to hit so well. I was barely pitched. Diamond Team pitched the whole thing. Anyway, so the whole night I was very chill. I was very relaxed. Yehuda was saying before the podcast I was, talking back to them when they were chirping me in the dugout. As I was pitching, I was responding to them. So the same thing on the mound. I get up to the plate, it's bases loaded. I shout to Abitan. I'm like, I have a 467 average with the bases loaded. Meanwhile, it's bases loaded 2 out in the 5th inning, the biggest spot of the game. Yehuda gets out of the count 0-2 right away. He throws a gorgeous pitch on the inside corner for a strike. I then get a good pitch that I actually could hit on the outside corner. I line it over the first base line, foul by a few feet. Then Yehuda throws 2 pitches in a row, both that were absolutely phenomenal. One moved up and in, one moved down and away. Both are very close. The second one I actually did a check swing on. The second one specifically might have been a strike. It was very, very borderline. It went to 2-2. The third pitch missed by a lot. 3-2.
I went like this, by the way.
Like
I did one of those, yeah.
The next pitch missed by a lot, went to 3-2, and then I remember saying, all right, it's my second 8 pitch up out of the game. I then go on to foul off another pitch on 3-2, and then 3-2 he walked me to bring the by the way, the other 8 pitch at bat actually singled to center field, and I got thrown out at first base. So I went through
it was right field, but yes,
right center field. I got two 9 pitch at bats. The one I walked and one I got thrown out at first from the outfield. It was like it was an amazing at bat, and like I said, like as a hitter, I take away all my power on purpose to an extent. I could if I want.
Is there anything you haven't accomplished on a softball field?
Yeah, I've never hit a home run
Wow.
Without like. I hit a home run without a goal ball in the OHL tournament. My last season playing with Orieller and the boys in the quarterfinals, I actually threw a home run to right center. I jacked one into the gap, but I very rarely hit home runs. Like even that Sunday morning, remember that game against the Blue Wahoos, Dave? 5 years ago, not just a big fight.
Triple, right?
I had a big bomb throw with a triple. I never hit a home run in like a league game because I bat. My feet are very close to each other, like literally 3 feet away. My hands are separate from each other, which is totally not what you're supposed to be doing as a hitter. But I thank God I have just precise control with my bat and good patience. I'm able to really poke the ball wherever it is that I really need to most times, which allows me to get into deep accounts because I can really just poke it foul. Most tough pitches I can just foul off. So it was awesome. It was great. I had an awesome time. They were great at bats, and it was an amazing game. And I'm gonna say it, Toby Busco's team. I wish they would have won last night. They should have won the game. They're 1 out away.
Okay, so I wanna get into that, and then we'll get into the power rankings, and then we'll let Yehuda go because he made $1 million deal today, and now he's got to go celebrate. All before noon. Just so people don't know, I messaged Yehuda last night. I was talking to Shlomo last night, and then I was like, Shlomo was talking about Yehuda, which we didn't. Yehuda's evolution as a pitcher, and I said, this would be a great podcast. So I message everybody, and Yehuda says, "Oh, I got to be in Manhattan in the morning." So I call Yehuda around noon to check in. Oh, I'm already back in 5 towns. I'm like, you made it to Manhattan and back already? I'm like, and you also cut a milli, as they say in the trade. He cut a milli. So, last night, Avi, your team, and I'm very curious about this. Sandy Berger is another new tier 1 pitcher.
Yeah.
Hasn't pitched that much at tier 2. I think
tier 1, yeah.
Because really, he played on the Tigers, and I think Yitzchak Weiss is the main pitcher. So he pitched on my Sunday team last season, and he's pitching this season too. He's barely pitching, though, because he has to keep his arm fresh for Monday night. So Nachum Mintz has been pitching for us really well, actually. So Sendy, new to Tier 1. What happened in the 7th inning last night? I don't know if, Shlomo, you were there. I know Yehuda and Avi were there. Was he not able to close? Actually, let's get Yehuda's take because, he's got a lot more experience than Avi. What was your take on Sendy? Was he, was the moment too big for him? His first start in the Haliga Tier 1?
I don't think so. I think that, there is a process of learning how to win. And I don't mean that in a condescending way at all. I think you watch teams that are very good and they just, unfortunately, in the beginning, the result is not what they want. And when they stick to it, they learn how to close a game. And I don't think it was an inability. I just think they were playing a very tough team. I would take my hat off to them that they kept a really good team, Glenn's team, right? They held them to almost nothing the whole
They're
game.
up 2-0 in the bottom 5th with 2 outs.
Yeah, I mean, they really did a good job. I mean, I thought that game, when I saw the two teams, I thought that was going to be like a 5-3 game, 6-4. I was very surprised when I got there and it was scoreless, like in the 4th inning. But
Snake bit by what? Snake bit by what?
Around,
Oh, that was the dive? Somebody dove for it?
That was what gave them the lead. Yeah.
Wait, that looked like a clean hit to me.
No,
again,
it was. Yeah, go ahead.
It could just as easily have been hit at somebody.
I see.
So
I see what you're saying. Who
Well,
was the shortstop there that dove for that? Who was that?
the run they scored was, I thought, I don't know if it was
Who
off
was
an
their
error.
shortstop? Jakey Goldenberg.
Yeah.
No, Jake's in the outfield. Who was their shortstop?
I feel like there was a misplay.
Was it Jake Lichtman? Was Jake Lichtman playing short again for them? Jake played a phenomenal short when I pitched. Jake was definitely playing. Maybe it was Jake Lichtman at short.
It's like one misplay, but I mean, we're not talking about that. It was like an 8-6 game. I mean, I think it ended up 4-2.
So what about the process of knowing how to win? Walk me through that.
You get to these last 3 outs, and we'll go back to like even our game where we have a 1-0 lead. It's bearing down. It's not, the mentality has to be that, oh my God, it's the 7th inning. It's just like any other inning. You have to go out and play just like any other inning. You can't start worrying about what happens if this guy gets on or that guy gets on. It's understanding where to play your defense. And I think that's a maturation process. Shlomo, before his at-bat, I don't know if it's on video, but I moved the outfielders back about 2 steps right before. A part of it is I faced Shlomo a bunch of times. I know he can hit, but you might say, oh, the ball's not carrying, but there's an understanding of don't give up an extra base hit now. Okay, have it drop in front of you. It's nobody on base. So it's a process that comes into the game. And when you get more comfortable with it in the late innings, Avi used the term before, he gets nervous. He doesn't really get nervous. He makes himself nervous. He shouldn't be nervous. He's been in these situations so many times. So it's getting, breathing and just play the inning like you played any other inning.
Yeah, I would say I would say a pretty well pitched inning. Even that hit that gave him the lead, it was by his ankle, so it wasn't. There was
a good pitch.
There was an open base. The only thing I would say about that inning is you can't walk someone with a runner on first, 1 out, and you can't walk the tying run on the base. That's the only thing I'll say about that inning. Stendy obviously, I don't think he walked anyone all game. Maybe one when I wasn't there, but that's the only thing I would say about that.
Wait, he walked somebody. It was 1 out, nobody on.
Runner on first, 1 out. He walked the tying run onto the.
So that was your snake bite.
He walked
that runner getting to first.
He walked the go-ahead run onto base. The go-ahead run onto base.
Who took the walk?
It's a great question. Actually, I was trying to remember. I couldn't. I downloaded the Game Changer app, so I'm going to check right now.
And by the way, to be fair,
Yeah.
I heard the comment being made when it was 2nd and 3rd. There was an open base, as Avi just said, that they should have considered walking that guy to set up the double play. Again, that's not a bad idea. You set up a force at every base. The go-ahead run is already on second base. It's not the worst idea.
No.
I heard it mentioned, and I was like, it's a pretty good thought.
I'll tell you, Izzo Zvirin grounded out. Yitzi Miller then hit a vintage bloop over first. Perfectly placed ball.
Yep.
Shiro Zielinski walks. By the way, Shiro was tearing it up. Was tearing it up all night.
He also made a play last night.
You
do not
forgot
see.
about that.
You don't see that very
I was
often.
talking to Dom. I was distracted. Shiro went over the dugout fence with his arm like you're robbing a home run, like full extension over and made the catch. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So he climbed He climbed.
Yeah. He climbed.
Unbelievable play.
So Shai walks, 2 on, 1 out. Chesky Itzkowitz grounds out to second. Another smart play by Shai. Shai was running to second.
Yes, that could have been the game.
Shai froze, and Chesky then turned around. And what Chesky should have done is actually charge
step on second.
But he threw to first to get the out, and that
Chesky, who hit? I thought you said Chesky hit the ball.
Chesky hits a ground ball. Chesky hits a ground ball to second, and
Who's your second baseman?
First and second, 1 out.
Who's the second baseman? But you said Kretzky.
yeah,
I got
oh,
it now.
sorry.
He should have thrown to second. Instead, he got spooked and threw to first.
Yes, and then Shai also first of all stopped double play by freezing, and second of all got the second within 2 outs, and then the
And he's the go-ahead run. So again, that's what I mean by maturation. You have to know in that moment, I'm not going to get the double play because he's stopping. Okay, let me take the out at second because he's conceding it, and then go first and third. So at least my go-ahead run is on first,
Yeah.
and not second.
then
So
Light,
who was the second baseman? Can you figure it out?
yeah, I could figure it out. Oh, Zalman Pollock,
Okay.
who by the way played a great second base all night.
Very
Couple really
good.
players.
Very good play. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great player. Shlomo, you have any thoughts on this before we get to the power ranking? I feel like we were chattering away while you were just taking it all in.
Yeah, I wasn't there for it, so I wouldn't have any insight on into what happened.
Shlomo, you would have enjoyed it. It was a very, very good ending to a game. It really was.
Yeah. After I saw it on the community, I was like, okay, I should have stayed because what else am I gonna do? But next time I'll know to stay for the game.
That's
All right, so Avi, let's get to the power rankings and then go on our way. This is only tier 1, not tier 2, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go tier 1. We'll hopefully have a separate power ranking with tier 2. We didn't forget about you guys. We love tier 2, just like we love tier 1. We have 11 teams. I already have 3 teams that reached out about bringing a team in the summer. So hopefully we don't run out of fields because apparently nobody. Thank you, Yehuda. Apparently nobody likes playing on Tuesdays. Apparently it's unheard of to have to play on a Tuesday. You know, so.
Are you being serious? I would.
I'm being 100% serious.
For so many people that play Sunday, I'd rather play Tuesday.
I asked that to somebody else, Konig. I don't understand the Monday night, why it's on Monday nights.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it.
We'll bring it up next year at the meeting. Mo and I, by the way, have battled a bunch because we've both been Shuli captains. We've had our share of like 2 lawyers in a courtroom battling it out.
Yeah.
The game that got rained out after we tied up the game, whether it was a win or a loss, that's the classic.
How many innings was it when it rained out?
I think it was if we just finished the top of the 5th. So we tied in the top of the 5th, but they never batted in the bottom of the 5th. So it turned into a whole thing.
But isn't the rule 4.5?
I don't remember. But because we tied it after it was already an official game, but it wasn't, they didn't have a chance to bat in the bottom of the inning.
It's a suspended game.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be a suspended game.
Yeah. The Indiana State girls softball rule book was posted in the chat at one point. It was just everybody was posting their own rule books to see who would come out as.
When we were little kids, it would be you cut off the inning. You don't cut off innings.
Yeah.
If they tie it up, it's a suspended game, and you continue it.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the power rankings here. Tier 1 power rankings. I'm getting into my shuckle, which means the brain is starting to rumble and trek. And I'm actually gonna be a little bit of a surprise. Coming in at number 6, I already hear the murmurs in the background, not from this man, because this man apparently doesn't care about softball, only golf, and ice hockey a little bit. I'm actually going to have Omlin's Kosher Pizza at 6, and I'll tell you why.
What the hell? You're a moron. They won 2 championships in a row. How do you put them in 6th?
I'll explain. Omlin's Kosher Pizza, and let me hear me out, and it might not be as dumb. Omlin's Kosher Pizza lost 2 valuable pieces before the season. I'll be named Adam Bromberg. Omlin's Kosher Pizza has Noah Aaron, who is only 50% committed to Omlin's. Matt Rosenberg, who not only is only 50% committed to Omlin's, he vacated the outfield with bases loaded, 2 outs, down by 2 runs in the 6th inning to go to basketball. And Daniel Ash has walked the house 2 games in a row. So they're 0-2. I know Mo Feintuch is joining them in June. But from what I've seen so far, with the commitment issues and the walks and sloppiness and losing Izzo and Nenner and Bromberg, I don't know. They just don't look like the same intimidating Omloans that when I played in the last 4 years. Now that I'm not playing, maybe it's because I'm not pitching anymore against them. But I just don't feel the Omloans Kosher Pizza vibes. It looks like it's really not there. They're missing a lot of guys, like I said, and just 2 of their best players are basketball first for the first 3 months of the season. So it's just the vibes I'm getting.
But 1 second, Avi. Just to what? How many?
Benji's out. Benji Horowitz is out for 2 months. Like their whole team is,
4 out of 6 make it. 4 out of 6 make it to the playoffs, or 5 out of 6.
It's gonna be 4 versus 5 in a play-in.
So you think they're gonna be the 6th seed?
I'm putting them 6 in the power rankings right now. They're 0-2.
Okay.
What's the thinking of the 4 versus 5 versus just having top 4? Just out of curiosity.
It adds an extra game, makes things a little bit more intense. It keeps the 5-6 battle, a battle for the bottom up there, and it also gives a big incentive to get into the top 3. 2 reasons. It keeps it interesting between 4 and with the 5 and 6, and also gives the 3 seed a very big.
You mean otherwise there's no real difference between 1 and 4?
Yeah, it's always been 1 and 4. Like you got, and also in the A League, everyone could beat each other. So like, one.
That's what I'm saying. So there's no real difference between 1 and 4, right? Now you have to win an extra game, right?
Correct. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. I actually think it's actually pretty obvious, in my opinion.
Your logic is fair, but I think I've seen you do this in multiple power rankings multiple power rankings across different leagues. You don't give enough respect to defending champions. I've seen. I think your logic is good, but the heart of a champion is the heart of a champion.
They're like the Nationals. After the Nationals won the World Series and lost everyone the next year and didn't make the playoffs, and had like 50 or 60 wins. I think it was the Nationals, right? That's all.
You're too young to remember the Marlins of 2003.
No, I know they beat the Yankees in the World Series.
Well, those were fire sale teams. Let's be fair about that.
Yeah.
Coming in at number
the Nationals. The Nationals were not.
No.
Coming in at number 5, and again, the only reason why I have them at number 5 is because I think there's just nowhere else to put them. Is Shlomo Ross's Holy Schnitzel. Again, they're new to tier 1.
Benji Ashkenazi and Morty Kirsch's Holy Schnitzel.
Well, Shlomo's on the podcast.
Shlomo's assistant.
My EYG catcher in the MSL, Benji Ashkenazi's Holy Schnitzel. They're new to tier 1. Again, I mentioned earlier in the podcast, I think they'll be very competitive in every game. I think they have a shot at winning the championship the same way everyone else has a shot. But they're new. Asaf's a great pitcher. I think they're going to have a lot of trouble adjusting, especially when they're, continuing to face the top pitchers in the league. I think they'll have a lot of trouble getting more than that 1 to 2 to 3 runs a game. I think it'll take a while. Not that many teams do get more than 3 runs a game, but I think they're going to have to play perfect in order to win. Not be competitive. I think they'll be competitive consistently, but in order to ultimately win, I think they'll have to play almost perfect until they really adjust to that hitting. And for that reason, I put the Holy Schnitzel at number 5.
And not to fully interrupt you, but I don't have an issue with you putting us at number 5. We came from the B League. We have to prove ourselves in the A League, especially with no wins right now. However, I think that
I love the howevers. Yeah, go ahead.
The adjustment periods in the beginning of the season, we are only going to get better against the A League pitchers as the season goes on. So I think in the beginning of the season, we're going to struggle to score runs. We will get there, and then at that point, the league has to watch out.
I think that makes sense, by the way. I think it's a prove it and move up. I think that makes a lot of sense. Again, I think 3 and 4 also is an extremely, extremely very close. I think 1 through 4 is a flick of a finger, to be honest. People might not agree with me, might get upset at me, but I think just out of respect, I know you're saying I almost Kosher Pizza back-to-back champs. Out of respect, I think I'll have to do it in this order. I think 3 and 4 could have gone anyway. I will give the edge at number 3 to Essex, so I'll put my team all pink at 4. I said multiple times, and I actually meant it. I think Alpine could easily, and I really mean easily, beat Gordon Companies or the Lobos or Konig's or Menachem Lyman's Essex any night. Senny's a very good pitcher. Again, also a little bit new to the Tier 1 space. Tobia's in a similar situation, in which a lot of his hitters are also very much new to Tier 1. I think they're phenomenal in the infield. People are forgetting Josh Goldenberg's on his team and will qualify. Akey's a stud in the outfield. They have this other kid, another Ariel Cone prodigy at third base. Tall kid, bushy hair, I forgot his name. But at the plate, he hits rockets every time. Phenomenal third baseman. They have a great team. Menachem Greenberg's a vet. Again, just because
who's their second baseman? The light blonde hair.
That's Zalman Pollock.
Oh, fantastic hitter.
Yeah, he also hit really well. Jason Schlessel at first base. Maybe that's
a good team.
Very good team. Again, just out of and the reason why I put them at 4 and not 3 is because you have the vet Yehuda Konig going for Essex NYC, who does won championships many times before. He knows how to win. He knows when to win. He knows where to win. And he's backed by my former core guys, again, who have won in the league. Moshe Zinn, Hillel Rokach, Erloch, and Rudansky. Like, these guys know what it takes to win. They played Tier 1 ball now for 5 years. Menachem Lyman's a stud. Also, unbelievable in the field. When you have a Konig on the mound, with an unbelievable field behind you, you're going to be extremely competitive. And, they, for now, will come in at 3. And like I said, again, I think 3 and 4, I think every game will be decided between 1 and 2 runs, assuming there's no 5 backups in the game where there's 7 errors. I just think it's that close. That's my 5 through 3. Before I get into 1 and 2, which is probably the most controversial out of all of them, I don't know if you guys have any thoughts.
Listen, it's a show me league. We have no, I'm surprised you even put us as high as 3. We lost to to the other team, to your team. I think it can go either way. And I don't think you'll get flack for your 1 and 2. And, they're both they're both top teams. I mean, it's not crazy at all.
At number 2, I'm going to put the Sheriff and Gordon Company's at number 2. They have a great team. Jonas Lowinger is, of course, not only a great player, but also awesome at just bringing in talent. And they're going to get as many of these 17-year-old studs qualified as possible, the Jonas on that team. Of course, you got legends like Bloom and Glenn and their first baseman, I always forget his name. Very scary guy, but apparently very nice off the field with a tremendous amount of pop. He's a lefty. I forget his name. But they have, as Younger and Nisi Miller, they have a very good team. Izzo is the new catcher. I think they're dangerous. I think, again, they're as good as anybody. However, at number 1, I'm going to have to go with my boys, Adam Shuy-Hoffman, who run the team, Sal Felberg, who helped recruiting with the team, the Lobos. And I'll tell you why. The Lobos have always been great. The one thing that's been holding them back every single year has been young talent. And now I think finally they're actually taking it, seriously. Let's run through the Lobos roster quickly. Solely the kid Esses. We all know he's a stud. Yaakov Sabo, one of the most underrated players in the league. Yaakov was phenomenal back in the day. He got married, had 3 kids all within like 4 or 5 years, had shoulder issues. The guy was forgotten about. You see him play last night. Yaakov made these crazy plays at second base. He made this play deep in the hole where he spun around, made a crazy throw, had 2 or 3 hits, hit the ball hard every time. Phenomenal player. Yitzchak Light is awesome. Another young stud. Had to, where'd it go? Tzvi Shomron, I think, is on the roster also. Scheinbein is a great player. And then you have the legends. You have Archie and Adam and Shuey. And it's just a never-ending lineup, a mix of studs, of professionals, of boppers, of unbelievable speed, of great fielding, of great hitting, young hitting. I just think they're the perfect
So I have a question for you, Avi.
Mix of talent to win a championship.
I hear that. There's one of the pieces of softball wisdom out there is that Steve Pollen is 55 years old or so, and he's got 2 issues. One, he can't pitch as well at night because he's tired. And 2 is that going back-to-back days, Sunday and Monday is too much for a 55-year-old shoulder, and legs for that matter. And what do you say to that?
I'll answer very simply. I tried interviewing Steve Pollen for the Holy Schnitzel Player of the Game last night, and he did an absolute terrible job. Like, Yehuda Konig aced it. Steve Pollen, I asked him one question.
I never saw the Konig interview.
It's on Instagram. You're welcome.
Instagram.
Yeah. It's on the story. Yeah.
Which thing is you? What
Yehuda,
is it like?
Yehuda's famous now. Anyways, Steve Pollen, I asked a question to, right? And I didn't post it yet, so I'll say it. And he gives an answer. And I'm about to go for my second question. And he just walks away.
Wow.
I'm like, Steve, we're in the middle of an interview. We're still rolling live. He's like, this is the regular season, okay? Come back to me in the playoffs. Come back to me in the playoffs. Is he getting fined
by the league? Like, who was that
he
player
was going to. But
was
then
it Antonio Brown or was somebody else?
He was Marshawn Lynch. He was going to, but then he grabs the mic out of my hand and he goes, guys, Holy Schnitzel, best out there. Gotta go to Holy Schnitzel. But to answer your question, Steve pitched an absolute gem last night. I was calling him primetime Pollen on the WhatsApp status all night last night, thanks to you, David. He's been on fire. It's the best I've seen him pitch. Having him be the sole pitcher on the team now for the most part, I think might even give him a little bit more of oomph now that Viggy Cuss is officially off the team and on officially with Konig. I think it might help him. I think it might help him that he's the sole dog that everyone's riding. And I'm actually curious if he ever has to miss, who's going to pitch for that team. But I guess we'll see when that comes.
They'll figure it out. They got what's his name, right?
Does he ever? Dom DeRosa told me recently. He's like, I've owned 10,000 games with Steve Pollen. He's like, I don't think he's ever missed a game in my entire career.
Yeah,
it'll make sense.
Gents.
Anyways, that's it. I think it's great. I think it's be competitive, and we'll get into tier 2. I promise. We did not forget about you guys. You guys, yeah.
See, depending how the games go the next 2 nights, although Wednesday looks like it's going to be a washout.
Well, we gave teams the option to play tonight. No one took us up on it.
It's tough. It's tough to do that last minute. Any closing thoughts, Reb Shlomo or Reb Yehuda?
I just want to thank you guys for running the league. It's really nice. I think you found a way to, even though I'm a dinosaur with the technology, I think you, with the promotions and all, it really adds a little layer, a little oomph and spark to it. So I think you guys do a great job. Keep it up.
Thanks, Yehuda. I actually haven't announced. Yeah, go ahead, Shlomo.
I was just going to say that we may have been ranked number 5, but Steve said that we're the best. So just leave it out there.
Steve said that you're the best team.
Holy Schnitzel's the best. Those are his words.
I actually have an announcement to make. I was going to make this on the chat, but I'm going to make it here. Anybody in the league that is willing to do the qualified protein challenge, which means take a full cup of the protein powder, throw it back, and then chug water. Some people call it raw dogging. Somebody said I should stop using that term. Remains to be seen. I will ship at my own cost a bottle of the protein powder to you, but you got to make the video and post it in the players chat, and you also got to complete it. You got to complete it, but I'll ship it to you.
Is it healthy, by the way? Well, is it gonna really help clean my gut, Shlomo? I'm being serious. I need to go. I need to get going on a diet. I keep on telling myself I will. I need to get my Torah suit that my mother promised me for Hanukkah, but I never went because I told myself I'm gonna lose weight first. Is it gonna help me?
So it's not a weight loss drug. It's a supplement. So if you need more protein in your diet, which most people
Well, when you're trying to lose weight, you're working out. When you're working out,
Well,
you need protein.
well, there's another thing also, which is that it keeps you fuller.
right. So that's part of it also. I drink it throughout the day. I have it in my coffee. I have a protein shake in the middle of the day. And it's not just because they sponsor us. I reached out to them because I use it every day. It's like I've tried other protein powders that were grainy and not as good. I tried Qualify, and it's been the best protein powder that I've ever had.
Shlomo, take your shirt off for us. Let's see what we're working with here.
I think you found
all right.
you're looking strong.
Before we go, guys, 2 more quick shout-outs. I want to give a shout-out to FM Home Loans, the HSL League sponsor, every one of our softball member communities. Hopefully, you guys will have yours already. Dave, I don't think you got yours yet, but maybe tonight.
Maybe tonight's the night.
Gets your HSL FM Home Loans hoodie, and of course, the Town Appliance, our corporate sponsor, who is the official sponsor of the HSL Night League. Shout out to you guys. We love you. We couldn't be here without you. And what a podcast, guys. Right up on an hour, Dave. Let's close
1
this out
hour.
before it's an hour and a
All right,
minute.
guys.
All right.